excellent afternoon to all our viewers out there. How will I start this? Should I say that the complementing role of women and the strategic function that they play to national development can never be relegated in terms of impact, and how well have our women grown are the questions that I want to put out there today. More importantly, how have we developed, in terms of capacity, capacity of development and area of what's it called, self-development as well. But again, I say excellent afternoon to all our viewers again. You're on another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike, and of course I remain the convener Kike Atanda-Owo. And I have the real talker, my partners who have the appetite for real talk. How are you doing, Lola?
I'm very always amazing to see you. We missed you on the show last week. Trust me. Yeah. Your chair is always hot. always. But welcome to all our viewers. Thank you so much for the support you show us on the show all the time. We'll continue to do our best to bring you great conversations. You're welcome again.
Good afternoon from everywhere. Like I always say, you're getting the opportunity to watch this. I'm sure that, of course, PHCN is very active at your area. That's why you're seeing us today. It's another beautiful Tuesday, and like we ladies, we're keeping it very beautiful and very real for you. My name is Damilola Banire. Welcome again.
All right, some insurgent killings took place in Kano exactly 9 years ago, and let's find out from our This Day in History segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
On this day in history, February 8 in 2013, exactly 9 years ago, gunmen suspected to be members of the Boko Haram insurgent group shot and killed at least 9 women who were taking part in a polio vaccination drive in Kano. Kano State Police Commissioner Ibrahim Idris immediately ordered the arrest of 3 radio journalists for allegedly being responsible for the killings. Police claimed on-air comments about a vaccination campaign in the area sparked the attacks.
It's so sad. It's unfortunate, when I went through this on This Day in History segment, that 9 women died, and the fact that they were pointing fingers at radio journalists, was a no-no for me, and asking myself a lot of questions. I wish that there could be more information when I was doing research about this on This Day in History segment for today. But Dami, what's your take on it?
I think I also checked, and nothing substantial. But I condemn the fact that somebody is pointing, or the commissioner of police is pointing accusing fingers at journalists.
Ibrahim Idris.
That's Ibrahim. What were they supposed to do? It was just an honest call, like polio vaccination is going to be taking place. It's just an what's it called? Was announcement. So why do you have to point accusing fingers at them? You have lacked in your duty. So please, let us know who we should apportion the blame to. The journalists have only done their job by announcing. And
no, I think I actually know what happened at that time. I think I even know the radio station that it happened. When it comes to journalism, we have to be very careful about how we report or how we disseminate information. Okay. Because if you're in a rural area that a lot of people are Muslims, and they have some belief system about women not entering into men not entering into some places, and maybe some conversation that went on, they can actually I think it was a misinterpretation.
Okay.
Because it became a big deal that the station that the person worked was even shut down at that time, because something around the conversation that the person said, incited some of the killings. And we have to really be careful when we're disseminating information.
I agree with you, and I'm glad that it's allegedly, they're not saying that they are actually the one responsible for it. All right, many thanks for staying with us. It seems to many that we place too much emphasis on the women, and well, it is so because a number of crucial factors depend on the individuals called women, and of course our society today is, I would say that women bettered the society, yes. And the narrative in our society sees women from, the home front and the child rearing perspective. But women can do more, and we have been doing more, if you ask me, in terms of development, and women have been built to develop the nations, you know, to make, will I say, to take on roles like prime minister, vice president, and leaders in world organizations. So coming back to our home front, we want to examine the capacity and the roles that to take on the challenge of national building. And I must say that the areas of our topic will cover a whole lot, because our guest today has, you know, going through her profile, I feel that, you know, she's more of what's it called? She has played a lot of role when it comes to reorientation, literacy, you know, leadership, politics, financial empowerment, gender equality, and many more. Guys, let me hold my breath now. But on the show today, we have a veteran banker. For those who are following me on my social media, I'm sure you know who we are bringing on air, but she's a woman who is self-driven when it comes to development, when it comes to, she's a campaigner of it, and of course a politician, and she has been involved in numerous projects, you know, and foundations that are helping to boost the productivity and the capacity of women in our society. And prominently, I think that I should add that she was one of the founding mothers, yes, the founding mothers, and the past president of WIMBIS. You guys know that I like to reckon with WIMBIS a lot. Say welcome to the show, Mrs. Adeola Azeez. You know, it's wonderful to have the caliber of your very self in the studio presently with us. And I think that before we start diving into the topic at hand, it's important for me to say kudos to a personality like you in terms of changing the narrative, you know, out there in terms of capacity in nation building. You know, I must say that I was truly impressed by all you've achieved thus far, and I know there are lots that you still have to, you know, keep doing. But you know, an active player like you in terms of educating and, will I say, reorientating our women, I feel that you've done a lot regarding that. But going straight to the topic at hand, I feel that the first question I would like to ask is the fact that, you know, gender bias, you know, and gender inequalities, I feel that, for lack of a better word, is a geography that has remained a challenge, you know, for women in terms of participation in our nation building. So how close, maybe that's the word, are we to winning the battle of this equality in Nigeria?
Okay, that's a very, it's a good question, and it's a good place to start. Now, the talk about gender equity, equality is very rife at the moment in our country. But when you're talking about how close we are to closing the gap, I would say that up until last week, Friday, 4th of February, I would have said we were not close. We're a bit far out.
Why is that?
But the groundbreaking event happened on Friday. But before that, why are we not close? When you look at the statistics before us, in terms of how we are regarded globally, the Global Gender Report from the World Economic Forum, I mean, put us at 125 out of 158 nations.
Wow. That's
right? Now, you've heard these statistics before. Coming back home, how many senators do we have? 109. How many women are there?
3 or 4.
Seven.
It's just 7.
Now, House of Representatives, how many do we have? 360 men and women together. But out of these, there are only 22 women. Do we have female governors?
No.
No.
We have not gotten there.
We have not gotten there. Do we have policies that enable women to engage in politics effectively? No. Do we have government that have they taken affirmative actions to ensure that there's a level playing field for women? When you go to the political arena, there's violence, there's thuggery. You also talk about the cost of engaging in politics. Even the well-seasoned women who are leaders, who want to engage, who have the experience, who want to move from one career to the other, politics is not attractive to them. Because the cost is phenomenal. We can't go on like that. So we need the political parties to also ensure that there are within the structure, that there are positions for women to aspire to. We've always started on the women leader.
Market women, they make it seem
Market
the
women,
connotation of
they
women.
make the office look like the best office a woman should aspire to. So all of these are limiting factors. They are limiting factors for you to say that we are close to it. The gap is widening. But guess what happened? On Friday, I remember I was somewhere, and one of my mentees called me and said, guess what turned up to the news? Honorable Aisha Duku came up on air and said that at this moment, that the Joint Committee of the Senate and the House of Representatives, looking at the constitutional review, have just approved that there will be selected seats, special seats for women. Here. Now, let me explain. Those seats are for the Senate. They have now said that there will be an additional seat for women. So, you know, in each state we have 3 senatorial districts, but now there will be 4. And that 4th seat is a woman to occupy it.
Must be
a woman. The second option is for the House of Reps. Whatever numbers that you have in your state, an additional 2 seats have been created.
Interesting.
For women.
Wow.
So, are we moving in the right direction?
I think yes.
We're getting there.
Are we seeing the light at the end of the tunnel?
Oh, yes.
Maybe. Now, this still needs to be discussed on the floor of the plenary. Hopefully, we will have an act. Whether this will not apply for the upcoming 2023 election, we're yet to see. But this is a groundbreaking event. Awesome. And we should celebrate and thank those men who saw fit that the time has come, that the needle must move from where it used to be. Kudos to them.
That's kudos to them. But from my own side, I would think that the family makes up the nation. And we know the role, the magnanimous role a woman plays in the family. Oh, men don't get pregnant. Oh, men don't take 9 months leave. But sometimes we discover that even the family has become an hindrance for a lot of women to actually break barriers. Because it's either my husband is not supporting or my husband is not. So I think carrying the men along is quite also very important. Now, some men have even left an indelible mark to say, we can give this to women. But for some other men, which I believe they are the larger population, still not understanding why a woman should be there in court. How are we going to help to reorientate them?
Good question. Now, I'd like to change your choice of words, saying that women holding the family is an hindrance. We're a blessing. Okay? And I'll come back to that if time allows. Now, for the men, we need to reorientate them. We must understand that we come from a patriarchal society. So that alone limits us. And it says to the men that, look, I'm in charge. So what do we need to do? Like what is happening now? Because what has happened now, what happened on Friday, negates that point that you're raising. Because we need to constantly educate them. And I want to say for women, we say this from the very beginning, once you are choosing your spouse, and you know that you've got dreams to go into politics, to achieve, to fly, to get a business, to just be who you are. Be the person that God has made you to be. Women don't look into it, right? You must speak to your husband. Make sure that the husband that is going to be your life partner is going to be supportive of you along the way. You may say some of them may change, but there's some signals. If we are smart and we put on our thinking cap and not our emotional self, you would know a woman, you would know a man who would let her woman
dissuade on the way.
Do you know? So, but again, education, speaking up about it, bringing the values of what women bring to the table will persuade them. I mean, there are men who took this decision.
Yes.
Yes.
So if they can approve, then they know. But we're not even in competition with them. They're the head of the home.
Yes.
We don't want to take their position.
This too cumbersome.
But they just need to know the value
that we bring to
that
the
we
table.
bring to the table.
You know,
And that value will transcend to our communities, will extend to the country at large.
Yeah.
They should not deprive
Us.
what we can and then let the country retrogress when we can actually progress. We're
Yeah,
there as
great.
partners,
Thank
not
you
as
so
competitors.
much. I'm just looking at her mouth, the way she's articulating the points, and I'm really taking cognizance of many important things. One of the things I've seen that is very pivotal for women in our times is our education. A lot of women have taken it upon themselves to educate themselves, even through more strenuous ways than men are educating themselves. If you see a woman in leadership, if I check the woman's profile, she has pushed harder than some men have even pushed in that career. I've seen women will tell you that, I've heard many women say we have to work twice as hard to get the same recognition that men are getting easily. Now I'm thinking of women literacy. A lot of our mothers in the market, they've been in leadership for years, but the only disadvantage for some of them is the fact that they are not literate enough. And the girl child is still suffering in some states. In the north, there are many potential leaders that are not even educated, or the need for that girl education. When a woman like you that is a mentor to a lot of us, some of them do not even know the importance of education. How do we begin to bridge that gap, not even for the now, but for the future, that the woman will need to stay on top?
I think that the situation is not as bad because the girl child education, the advocacy around it is huge. Now, for also the women, either they're in the marketplace or they're in the offices, every woman must be educated because that is an empowerment.
Must be
Educated. Now, if they are not educated, we have a problem.
Wow.
Because in our education, we will learn about what it is about your voice, your rights, your taking part in the community as well as in national development. So the issue about the education is liberation. It's like if you're not educated, you're enslaved. You must be educated to be liberated, to be able to compete, to be able to contribute, to be able to help, to be able to support. So it is extremely mandatory that the education starting from the girl child to the teenagers, to the ladies, must constantly educate themselves. I am constantly relearning and unlearning. You know, I just graduated from the School of Politics, Policy and Governance 2-3 weeks ago.
Wow.
You know, for 8 months. So when you talk about the women education, we need a lot of advocacy around it. We need a lot of the media also talking about it. We need civil liberties talking about it, churches talking about it, that the education must, we just must be educated.
All right, talking about that, you know, I think one of the few points that I've picked from what you've just shared now is the fact that you're talking about the rights, you know, and I feel that Nigeria has, you know, rectified international laws and conversation in terms of women's rights, or in terms of equality and participation. So, however, many women, you know, running into a major percentage, you know, don't know this right, and they also don't even know how to go about it. So the question is, how do we promote our women understanding the rights and their obligations when it comes to politics?
Now, have you heard about this saying that Hillary Clinton said? Human rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights. That alone is so potent, it is so powerful, that if you begin to say it and we translate that into various languages, into actions. When you say human rights are women's rights, what does it mean? It gives you a voice. It gives you empowerment. It gives you rights to know right from wrong. It gives you when to know to activate. It gives you know that you've got the power in your hands to change things. We haven't talked about the office of the citizens. What is the office of the citizen? It is the most powerful office in the land, even higher than the office of the president. So the importance of education cannot be overemphasized. Like I said, it's liberation. And we just must ensure that the women organizations and the he for she, I call for he for she men, who believe that women have a role to play in all spheres, be it economic, be it social, be it politics. Women must know that governance, good governance, and empowerment all are aligned together. If we're not at the table and decisions are being taken
on our behalf,
what happens? They take the wrong decisions.
Just like when we used to have men become men who are Minister of Women Affairs.
Can you imagine? There was up north.
Happens up north, yes.
A male.
Women, Commissioner of Women's Affairs.
Yeah, he was
how do you understand?
Female leader, and he's like, how? I think I read that he's always supported women, and I'm like, hey, get real.
What are we doing?
This is real talk. Let's get real.
Let's get
All right, this is real talk. On that note, we'll go on a quick break. All right, glad to know you're still with us. In case you just joined the show, today's conversation is about national development and robust growth for women, you know, especially in Nigeria. And I want to say that we keep clamoring for women to get involved and represent themselves. But how many are up for the challenge? You know, that is what we've been discussing thus far. And are we building the women for these national roles? And we still have Mrs. Adeola Azeez with us on the show. And I must say many thanks for all you've shared thus far, because really listening to you and those who are out there listening to you, they cannot help but say that it's time for us to take the mantle of leadership. You know. So I think the next question I would like to ask is the fact that I know that they are quite, apologies, I have to quickly open our phone lines. Remember that you can be part of this conversation by calling our studio number 080-988-77400. It's showing on your screen right now. Remember that we are live on Facebook page on Silverbird, and of course on Real Talk with Kike on YouTube and on Facebook. So back to the question at hand, because I know that the last time I interviewed you, you know, I must bring this back. You know, you spoke about the political capacity, and you know, you said a lot of things that reckoned with me at the time, and I saw a great deal of conviction, you know, to the change that you are hungry to bring back to Nigeria, especially when it comes to, will I say, the political ambition of women. And I must ask you, you know, with all sort of pictures that have been trending on social medias with all the men coming out, you know, I haven't seen your own declaration for presidency yet. And I feel that we need women like you to actually, you know, encourage other people. What's going on, ma'am?
Nothing is going on. I am going to put my hand, leg, body in 2023.
Interesting.
And there's a strategy around it, right? And I will not be going for presidency or for governor.
Okay.
But you will hear in due course. You will be the first to know.
Okay.
Okay. And the reason that I have taken that decision is twofold. Now, I come from a background and a pedigree of politics. Okay. My father is an astute politician for over 70 years. And it's always been politics around the home front. And I'm a political animal in terms of, you know, mobilizing, encouraging women that we must be there to be the change that we want to see, to be the change that we would like, the inclusion. And another driving force for me is to demonstrate and encourage other women, but especially the women elite, the women in the corporate sector, the entrepreneurial women. And we all change course midstream, midlife. And for them to know that they can choose politics as an option. That is what I have done. I retired in December 2020, and there were various multi-options that I could have taken. I could have taken other options. And I said, look, Adi, if you do not ignite your heart desires to do this now, then when are you going to do it?
You know, but listening to you, this is just a follow-up question in my head. I just feel that politically, you know, I can observe a drawback of our women in terms of political participation and representation of 2023. It gladdens my heart to know that, yes, you said you will be coming out and in due time you would put out the necessary information. But from your own point of view, you know, what do you think is happening? You know, because I stand to be corrected. I feel that the ills in our political settings and the injustice that we see in our society is making women not to even want to be part of the politics that is going on presently. Don't you think so?
You know, I agree to an extent, in the sense that a lot of women feel their votes won't count. Women get discouraged when there is no order. You go to the polling booth, you see the violence, you see the thuggery on the streets, and you feel, if I go there, am I safe?
Exactly.
Am I safe? I'm not safe. So, but beyond that, right, there is also, we mustn't forget the fact that women are dealing with a lot. They are juggling. There's the work-life balance. And
work-life parenting balance. I like to put parenting now.
You know, but whether it's parenting, whether it's the responsibility on the corporate level or responsibility of ensuring that your business grows, it's a lot of work. And men don't do this. Men don't do this. So we are already disadvantaged in the sense that if you're not an organized person and you want to juggle all of this,
I don't have the right structure.
Right, and then I'm going back again to the point that I said. If women do not have the right partner as a husband to support, you're not going to fly. It is important to know that. So these are the limiting factors. But again, it's always important to know, to thyself be true. Know what exactly you can handle. We've talked about the cost of going into politics. You know, we talked about, and then, you know, the way women are also viewed. Most of the women who are in politics, I mean, if you really want to ask them, they're not regarded as, they're either single, divorced, separated, or whatever, or widowed. And there's a perception to those kind of women from men. The lens at which they perceive these women are not encouraging to other women who want to go into. Yes, so much that is the reality. We're talking about real talk. And that is what is an unspoken it's an unspoken perception. You know, when you perceive women and then you now go and Google them and you want to find out where they are.
Generally career women.
Okay, I mean, you know. So even I'm not even talking, I'm just talking of the women generally who have been in politics. So if women are going to go into politics now, I think that we must kind of change the narrative. We must speak about our husbands, speak about our children, and let them also know that we have families too. And for those of the women, a lot of young women, I would tell you, are coming out. A lot of them are already declared. A lot of them, you will already see them. I mean, look at, we've got Khadija Lamido Okono. We've also got the lady in the Senate, Ogun State Senatorial. Oh God, I forget her name. She was on a rise yesterday. So the women are coming out. So they are daring, they're courageous, but the most important thing you want to find out is, for me, your guiding principle should be, you've got character, you've got competency, you've got capacity, you've got the courage and compassion.
Okay, now I think all of this you have mentioned feels like the prerequisite to shopping for a leader. But I would also, female leaders generally. You are right. But I want to go back to education. Like, since taking office, President Buhari's highest allocation to the education sector has been 7.9% of the total budget. Now, should we look at a more educated or more literate president for 2023? Do you think it is very important? Because any president who does not take cognizance or put in consideration education, I don't think we're going to go anywhere. And our budget has kept reducing on education. Should we consider that fact?
You see, it's a sore point. And when you say should we consider, it's on the table. It should be considered, it should be spoken about every single day. What have we said? Education is liberalizing people. So we definitely need leaders who take education more seriously. Leaders who will be aggressive about closing the gap of our educational system. There's a huge divide at the moment. And if we don't fix it, we ain't going nowhere. So education, like I said, is liberalization. We must put most of
Apologies, I
our
might have to
it.
interrupt your line of thoughts. We have the Royal Majesty from Oyo State calling. Many thanks for calling, Kabiyesi. What's your contribution on the topic at hand? Hello?
Okay, thank you. Program very well. Mrs. Adeola upset. Because we didn't make it.
What's your name? What's your name, sir?
Program said that when you go to polling booth, when something happens, you just afraid. What about the men that are there at the polling booth? Are they afraid? Please.
We're talking about the violence and some thuggery and some activities that occur at some polling booth. And these are scary to women.
Hello?
So when you say that the men are not afraid, of course, probably the men are more courageous, but the women do not want to go into an area to go and exercise their right, which they should, and they must feel safe doing so. They must feel safe doing so to go and exercise their right. Why should there be thuggery? Why should there be violence at the polling booth on election day?
You know, I want to ask a question like, okay, now that a lot of women, in fact, in recent times, I've been in forums where women are being, you know, it's like a clarion call, and people are answering this call left, right, and center. But one of the things that is the bane of this is support from our gender. What can we do to, I know we've been saying things like hashtag women supporting women, and every woman has a different interpretation of women supporting women. How, there's been a woman that's come out, I think,
Khadijat Lamidi Okunu?
No, the election we had during that, in fact, the only vote she had was probably her vote.
You mean
One
Sarah
vote,
Jibril?
yes, Sarah.
Yes, Sarah
Jibril.
Jibril. At that time.
COA.
So now that COA party, thank you. Now that we have women really
No,
coming
COA
out.
is Remy Shonaya. So
Okay, COA was Remy Shonaya.
Yes,
Okay,
and
okay.
that was, yeah.
What, now that we have more women interested, at least showing interest, what can we do as a people, as a gender, to support actively those that are coming out? Because if they succeed in these times, it's going to be a ricochet effect. Because subsequently, more women will see the possibility of sitting in leadership.
It's a good question, and women should really be seen to be supporting women, especially where we have an abysmal number of women contributing, or low level of women participating. But what I would like to see, especially in the political arena, is to see more men and women mentoring. We talk about mentoring in the corporate sector and in the business sector. It shouldn't be missing also in the political space.
Yes.
So, and we all know the benefits of mentoring. So why should it be missing? Even it is more significant, it's more important for you to have political mentors. Men and women who have walked the journey and walked it right.
All right, many thanks for that. I think that, you know, it is, at this moment, I feel that it is the less enlightened women in the society that are mostly, you know, carried along during the election period, during campaign period, when they are used as, will I say, yaoloja, so to speak, you know, women leaders to campaign for the men, politicians, you know, because I feel that that's how it's being strategized for the illiterate, so to speak, for lack of a better word, to be the Iyaloja. How do we change this practice going forward?
What you're basically saying is that the political parties are sponsoring the less educated women to go into politics. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Because they are the ones.
No. The most of the women we see in active participation
Are
where
the
we are
literate.
used.
Okay.
Are
They are
the
being
literate,
used by
those are in the
political
market,
people.
right? Political rallies and all that.
Mobilizations.
Yes, because in the marketplace, right, women will mobilize. And once you mobilize and you have an Iyaloja, everything that Iyaloja says goes. I remember when I went to recently, I met an Iyaloja in Ijebu-Ode, you know, and, you know, I was there to experience the power that she wields. The influence and the power that she wields. And when I wanted to, I mean, it was curiosity to just go and talk to her and just to feel and hear and sample what she said. And it was like, omomi, kason, owari mi. And I said, Benny ma, you know, and he said, kile feshe, mini mo wa ki ni mo de wa wo, go bi, gbogbo nkan she n lo, you know. And the next thing it was like, she told one of her children to say, oh, they should give me a seat, they should give me a drink.
They should
and
call
I
the
said,
people.
They should call the people around.
Wow.
And I said that, are they happy with what is going on in terms of women participation in politics? She said, we are ready to work, but we just have to make sure that our interest, right, is taken into consideration. And you can imagine the number of women, the Iyalojas or whatever, mobilized. They are
higher market.
It's higher market.
Yeah.
It's far outweighs what the women elite.
So does that mean that we need to educate the girl child? Because I feel that the girl child still scares me when I think about the future ahead of them in terms of generations that comes after them. So out of the gender, will I say discrimination, you know, gender-based labor division, and will I say what's it called, the female mutilation as well, and of course early marriage, because I know early marriage is also part of the challenges that the girl child faces, and of course the little education that Lolo emphasized on earlier. And again, sexual abuse, you know, we are keeping it real on this platform, but the question is, you know, even though they lack education and I feel that that's one of the biggest challenge in the life of the women that you have emphasized thus far, we can see that the young ladies of our society, as you know, they've turned themselves to be, you know, I don't want to use the word that comes to my mind right now. What they do on social media, you know, flaunting themselves, flaunting their cleavages and the likes and all of that. So how do we up our game when it comes to this area of education? Because I feel that is a weapon of liberation, which is the word that I took from you. How do you think that, you know, for a girl child who is watching us right now, how do we think that we can help in terms of the weapon of liberation?
You know, with everything that we do, it starts from the home.
The foundation.
The foundation is the home front. Your mother, your father, your sisters, your aunties, and everything. Now, if the home is faulty in terms of not embracing that education is key, there's a problem. And we know that this is predominant in the northern states of our country. And I know a lot of women and a particular man, a particular royalty who has taken on that cause. His Excellency Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. The issue about the education of the girl child or the girl child mutilation and other areas that limit this is his number one cause. And it's again education. You need to reorientate the girls themselves. You need to educate them. You need to give them confidence. You need to mentor them. And you have to monitor and follow through their education. It must be intentional. You cannot leave it to chance. Because again, remember that we have the biases, the cultural biases, the religious biases, the patriarchy that we have, the gender biases that women are supposed to be, they're not supposed to be heard, and all of that. So it's a total reorientation. And advocacy. So for everything we say in this show that you do, maybe whatever you do, you must also bring it to the fore. And then also have places where you can say girl child education, translate it in the 3 basic languages, you know, when we speak to the girl child, you know, and then of course the leaders, you know, know the importance. And there are so many northern intelligent women. There are so many of them. I've interacted with them. I've seen it. So the awareness that this is so important, you know, it's on the fore, it's on the table, but we need many more.
All right.
You know, to talk
All right. Apologies. Many thanks for all you've shared thus far, because we've run out of time.
Have we?
Yeah, they're running commentary in my ears. Madam, it's time for you to... But no, we have the last segment of the show, and which is trending story. This is what binds us together as family, you know, as Nigerians. And the first trending story that caught our attention. Ma, you can choose to not give an opinion. Yeah. So the first trending story that caught our attention is that of the Senegal that beats Egyptian to win their first ever AFCON title. Gosh, Lolo, let me come to you. What's your take when you...
You know, when I saw the Senegal win, I was like, if you really want something, it doesn't matter how long it takes you. You need to stay the course. And that's where many people falter.
Resilience.
You just have to be resilient and stay the course.
Remain focused.
Yes, remain focused. Just look at them now. The Taranga Lions, or what they call them. I saw the jubilation was like, but I still feel bad and I do think
For Egyptians.
I watched the match myself.
Yeah, but do you have an opinion with that?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I love football. I mean,
wow.
a lot, yes.
Nice.
I mean, Green Eagles and my generation in those days, I don't know, Ilerica, you know.
Wow,
and,
mommy,
and the list
nobody
of,
on this table might
know
know
the
them.
standard. But again, you know, it's years of practice. Nothing happens by accident, right? So we must be prepared. And it's a shame that Nigeria lost. And, you know, that is one thing, as you know, that unifies us as a country, as a nation. You know, but I'm sure better luck next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Congratulations to the Senegal.
All right, Dami, what's your take on
We're
this?
going to actually give you a flight ticket to Senegal.
Yeah, it was a baby, and they sell boo-boos there.
You do business well. I think basically it's I'm just happy for them, at least for the first time in their history they brought the cup. Well, Nigeria can do better next time. We'll keep cheering our boys up.
All right, congratulations to Senegal, or the Senegalese people. It is a big victory for them, and I feel that they've conquered the whole world of Africa in football. And to Egypt, I say great job, well done. We all don't win every time, and I feel that, you know, and that's what Nigerians also need to learn from, you know. But more power to our elbow. I feel Nigerians tried. We should focus on our World Cup campaign now, and no need to cry over spilled milk. I see our NFF giving Eguavon, the Super Eagles coach, as a permanent management position, which I feel that was a actually good one, and we are capable of bigger exploits at the future soccer competition. I say well done again to everybody, and congratulations to the Senators people. All right, the second trending story that caught our attention is that of San Malami Abubakar, that says that will I say prima facie or something. Yeah, case establishes against Abakari in Hush Puppy fraud case. You know, before I give my own opinion on this, let me come to you, Damilola. What's your take on this?
Well, if we are going to look at it critically, I think it's a good one that for the first time, or one of the numerous times, Nigeria is actually willing to pull off guards and make justice. If he has to face the law, let him face the law. It's as simple as that. We have a rule of law here in Nigeria. Then this was not even perpetrated in Nigeria. It was against it's internationally. So how do you want them to keep perceiving us if we have to shield and shelter and cover our own? Because it is our own does not mean he should not face the law. Let him face the law.
Now that reasonable grounds of suspicion are established, that means it's prosecutable. So we are totally, I'm still wondering that if...
Go ahead.
If there are grounds of suspicion, that means they can actually come for him eventually if America wants to pursue that particular line. My own is that even though we know he has been fingered in this matter, you still see him canoodling and enjoying his life, going for parties. He still went for the wedding of the police commissioner, and there were a lot of rancor and clamor about it. It's high time in Nigeria that no matter how highly placed you are, if truly you are indicted in a matter, you should face the
Omotunde.
What?
You know, well, as a concerned citizen, and respectfully, I feel
as a
that
concerned police child.
yes, as a concerned police child, as someone who has had, you know, a direct case contact with Abakari, which I've shared on this platform, you know, I can speak of his professionalism and the positive role he played during my own encounter with me when I had scammers in 2020 when I wanted to buy a house in Lekki, to be precise, you know, and I saw another level of professionalism. It's not because I'm a police daughter or whatever, but the question is, his case is just, this is my opinion, his case is just a mistake of associating and mingling with the wrong set of people. That's my opinion. And I feel that him being involved with this money laundering or complicity with Hush Puppy, you know, I feel that he's still under allegations. You know, so when you say that,
when they say a prima facie case
hang on, it's still under allegation. And as Attorney General of the Federation has said that the Ministry of Justice, that, you know, they are still working collaboratively with the Californian court, as far as I'm concerned, on expediting his due process in the case, both on local and international dimension. On this note, I still say allegedly until proven guilty. And with that, we've come to the end of another episode.
That follow dog to waka with chop shit.
With that, we've come to the end of another episode or edition. No, I don't want our opinion on this.
No, there's no opinion. I just want to ask the three of you. Do you all have your voters card?
Oh,
yes, I have mine, but unfortunately, it's spilled.
Then you can go online and then get a new one.
Yes, I want
no
to go
excuse.
And get
Okay. What of you? Have you got yours?
I don't, but I will get
it. I do have it.
No,
I will challenge you. I will come back to ask you.
I will get it.
I will send a picture
I
of
will
it.
not disenfranchise myself.
Please don't. No, I'm not happy about that. You must get your voters card.
All right, what's the last words for our viewers out there in 1 minute?
Is basically what I've just said. Our women, let's get involved. Let's support. Let us help. Let us encourage. Let us mentor, because we count. We count and we will make a difference. Again, please ensure you get your voters card. Mine is right here. I wanted to flag it and show off.
Oh,
okay? So
the next time I see, I shall flag
is your passport to freedom, to liberalization, to everything that we want Nigeria to be. Your voters card. Thank you.
All right, that's his celebration. Many
leadership
thanks for
by
that.
example.
I love that. I love that. And indeed, we had an awesome show today on the edition of Real Talk with Kike. And of course, with the ever-looking sweet Mrs. Azeez Adeola. Many thanks for coming on the show and for keeping it real. I think that is the takeaway for me. And I must say that my name remains Kike Atanda-Owo. And you are?
Damilola Banire.
And my name is Omotunde Lolowan. Thank you.
And of course, you've been watching Mrs. Adeola Azeez
on the Real Talk Show.
Be real. Till we see you next time. Bye now.